Hey everybody, Josh Jordan here at Starhelm Studios, creator of Galaxy Goodbyes. I wanted to make this video to kind of debrief you guys on the campaign, where it started, where it is now. Just a little secret, we didn't quite make it, that's okay, and talk about the future of Galaxy Goodbyes and Starhelm Studios in general, and talk about a few other things. Throw out a little bit of support to everybody, but we'll get into that later. So let's start right at the beginning. Quick disclaimer, as I mentioned in a previous update, it was a couple weeks ago, I got kind of sick. I got a bad cold. I apologize, my voice is a bit weird, but still kind of recovering from that, and it definitely didn't help with everything. But if things are moving around in this video, it's probably because I had to get up and just take kind of a breather. I'm not used to talking this much, but I did want to make this video and talk to you guys a little bit more personally. Of course, there will be a written portion below as well, but I wanted to make this. You're probably wondering, why don't you just stay in bed and rest? Well, I'm not very good at doing that, and that's probably why I'm still sick, but yeah. So bear with me in my slightly cracked voice as we get through this video together, because I have a lot of things I want to talk about. About a month ago, January 4th, I started a campaign to raise $10,000 for a print run of Galaxy Goodbyes, a comic book that I made in 2020 for Webtoons. And I wanted to do a physical format that added a little bit more to the story and maybe some behind the scenes work, and included a lot of stuff that you guys wouldn't have been able to get otherwise. And over the course of those 30 days, something pretty cool happened. We got, I think, over 100 people pledged to our campaign, and we raised about $3,500, which is, to me, it's just incredible to see all the support flood in, not only from friends and family who had known me for a long time or from the beginning, and they know how important this is to me, and I appreciate all of your support, but also people that didn't know Starhelm Studios or Galaxy Goodbyes or me at all, and still decided to jump on board with us from either almost every state here in the United States, or even from around the world, just off the top of my head, and I hope I'm not forgetting anybody, but we have people from the Netherlands and France and Singapore and Thailand and Canada and Australia and Germany. It's just amazing to me to see people from around the world checking out this little sci-fi story that I made. Many of you had never been on Kickstarter before. So for many of you, this was your first campaign that you'd ever backed, and I'm really grateful and humbled that you would choose this campaign to be your first. And I wish that I could have shown you all the positive benefits that can come from Kickstarter, and unfortunately you saw the side of it that so often comes to, I think, many creators out there. I'm so thankful for all of you guys who decided to be a part of this anyway, even though you didn't really know much going in. So thank you all for taking a chance on us and taking a chance on Kickstarter. So at the end of those 30 days, of course, we did not make our funding goal of $10,000. It was an ambitious goal. I think it's definitely ambitious. It was bold, but I think it's important that artists value their work and don't just shoot for the bare minimum. I think you try to shoot for more. You know, I put it in the description that Starhelm Studios believes And if you're going to do something, be bold, go big. Don't settle for less and don't sell yourself short. And so I don't feel like I could make a claim like that or say that Starhelm Studios is for that if we weren't bold ourselves. So that's a lot of where that funding goal came from. There's room for improvement there, I think. We'll look into see if maybe a different funding amount would be a better idea. Really interested in your guys' thoughts on it. Let me know in the comments if you have any feedback. I'm also going to be posting a like an anonymous a survey, some sort of survey where you can kind of provide more information and more notes. And I really appreciate you taking the time to do that. I think it can be said that there's ways that I can improve and that I've already learned a lot just from running this campaign, and that I hope that I can prove to you guys in the next one. And there will be another campaign here soon. At some point this year, I'm hoping. I hope that I can prove that I've learned something from this and from everything you guys have posted and said, and to try to help the campaign. Dan, I see you out there, and I saw your comment about reaching out to other people, other creators, and trying to maybe cross-promote. And I think that's a great idea. That's definitely something that I did explore, but I did it a little too late, and there are a lot of things that I could have done before the campaign had even started, and I think I was really focused on the campaign page itself and the presentation, and wasn't thinking about so many things to do outside the campaign, and I didn't start to think about them until I started to launch it, and I thought, wow, there could be a lot of places that I could reach out to and start advertising. I had advertised on Facebook beforehand and a couple other places, but reaching out just to my own community was not something that I had realized until halfway through it. Once I finally was starting to feel a little bit better and was starting to get my energy back, I thought, man, now this is a great time to hit the streets and get the word out there. That's something that I could have done from the very beginning, or even months prior. So I think there's a lot of room for improvement there, and I'm excited to hopefully show you guys what I've learned in the next campaign. So like I said, since we didn't reach our funding goal, for those of you who are new to Kickstarter, just know that you aren't going to be charged for your pledge. You'll be free to spend that money how you see fit elsewhere. It also means that, unfortunately, you won't be getting any sort of comic sent to you anytime soon, as well as any potential add-ons that you might have added to your pledge. And I know for some of you it might be pretty disappointing. I'm sure many of you have stated you can't wait to get your hands on the book, and I share in that disappointment. I'm really looking forward to holding one of those books in my hands and sending them out to you. I definitely want to get like a picture with the whole stack full of comic books, and I was really looking forward to working on some of the different pledge levels. I think making the little adopted chaos fracture unique artwork for those who are interested in that was going to be a lot of fun, and maybe they'll pop up again in the future. I think something like making custom artwork for the future of Starhelm Studios, and for you to have something like that you could either hide away and bring out when that thing actually comes to light in reality and say, I knew that this was going to happen. Or maybe you would have collaborated with other people who got that same pledge and tried to piece together what was coming. I think something like that is a lot of fun, and I'd like to have something like that again in future campaigns. And I really appreciate everyone who was interested in those pledge tiers, as well as all the other ones, or just for backing the campaign in general, even if you didn't order anything specific and you just wanted to help out. So thanks again. Looking towards the future, Galaxy Goodbyes will return. This isn't the end for it. I really enjoy the story that I made. I'm really proud of it. And I think a lot of you are interested in reading it and exploring it in all its glory, not just the digital one that's online on Webtoons, but seeing how it's changed in the physical format and how it is still in keeping with the original story, because that was something that was important to me. But it will definitely come back, whether I am able to slowly raise funds for maybe a small print run and have something like that available to purchase from our site, or whether we return with another campaign perhaps this year for the comic book. I like that option just because I like all the unique pledge levels that everyone could potentially go for. I think that's a little bit more fun. But I'll keep exploring options and kind of see which one works best with what's going on at the time. You know, I kind of have to play it by ear and just kind of consider all of my options. So this isn't the end for Galaxy Goodbyes or Starhelm Studios in general. I'm still really interested in bringing all sorts of stories to you. I have a lot more waiting on a backlog, whether it be a comic book or a board game or an animated series, whether it's just me doing all of it or I'm part of some sort of collaboration, or I somehow have an entire studio full of staff. Starhelm Studios is a passion project of mine that I'm never going to give up on. I don't really ever see myself retiring, honestly. I'm like some sort of Miyazaki or something. I don't want to set myself at that level. I mean, I'm probably not as good as Miyazaki, but the same kind of thought process that never really done. So if you're worried this is the end, it's not, and it never will be, no matter what, until I keel over or something. So there's more to come. Speaking of Starhelm Studios and what's to come, I know a lot of you were interested in some of the posters that we had for sale, either the one from our first animated short that came out in September, I believe, or October, for Fire, and some of you were interested in getting one of the first edition versions of those, or even a second edition if we run out, or one of the year one anniversary posters for Starhelm Studios. So if you're still interested in that, those will be available on our website at starhelm.net soon, so be on the lookout for that. And again, you can always follow us on either Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, or you can go on our website and subscribe to our newsletter to stay updated on everything from Starhelm. And you can also check out our YouTube channel. Every once in a while we'll probably be posting more animations. They take a little bit longer to make, so bear with me. Eventually there will be a lot more animation, I promise. For those of you who are interested in that aspect or side of things, there will be more of that. So stay tuned, follow along, and we'll keep you posted. I also want to give a shout out to Chico State. As it says on the Kickstarter, we're here in Chico, California, and I hit up the town and visited the school. And I want to say thank you to everybody that helped me get set up so I could go put flyers all around campus. I don't know if they worked or not. If you saw one of our posters and you backed our campaign, let us know in the comments below. But I had fun putting them up, and it was fun to be on campus again and see some familiar faces. And it's definitely a place I wish I utilized a lot more. And as I've been working just on this business, I've realized just how many resources are still available to me there. So thank you again, and I'll definitely be back. I also want to thank some local businesses here in town who were generous enough to take some of our flyers to help get our word out. One of those places being Heroes Corner. They're a board game store. They've got some comics as well. If you're here in Chico, definitely check out Heroes Corner. They have a staggering amount of games. For someone like me, it's hard to make a decision on something at the store. This place will paralyze you, but they have everything you could want almost. So definitely check them out. Another one is Collector's Inc. If you've ever wanted a comic book, if you're ever looking for a comic book, this is like Heroes Corner but for comics, and just wall to wall, boxes and boxes, just full of comics from the beginning probably, along with a lot of other different merch. So definitely check out Collector's Inc. They're usually pretty involved in Free Comic Book Day. It goes on around here each year. I think it's coming up in about a month. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Hope you guys enjoy when Free Comic Book Day comes by. Maybe I'll even have something, but don't hold me to it. I also want to thank Bat Comics and Games. They're located downtown here in Chico, and they have a big variety of stuff, a lot of cool merchandise, and a lot of cool artwork from local artists too. Maybe I should put something in there. They have a lot of cool variants up on the walls, so don't look down the whole time you're in the store, because there's a lot of cool stuff up near the ceiling too. So definitely stop in there at Bat Comics and Games, and I think you'll find something that you're looking for there. Going online, I'd also like to give a shout out to a few different places, one of them being Comics Launch. You might have heard our jingle. If you did, let us know. We had a quick little blurb about our campaign at the end of one of their podcasts. So I'm really appreciative that they were able to include that in one of their segments. If you've ever wanted to learn more about starting a campaign, there's a plethora of resources on their site. So definitely check that place out at Comics Launch, and consider becoming a subscriber and listening to more their podcasts and looking up all the available resources they have, or even doing what I did and having a short blurb about your campaign at the end of one of their segments. So thank you again to Comics Launch. Thank you to Iron Oki on Twitter. He does Twitch streaming, and he had some very kind words for our campaign. I really appreciate him checking it out and kind of spotlighting us. It really made my day in the midst of being sick, to see someone checking it out and sharing it with others. So thank you again to Iron Oki. Definitely check him out. And I want to say thank you to Comics Boost on Instagram for including us in a couple of their stories and posts on there. It's really nice of them to do that. Some of you also brought up Kickstarter, a place that I knew about before, but I completely forgot about when I started this campaign. And I was able to reach out to them and get an ad running through them as well. And I want to thank them for their generosity in helping with that. So thank you again to Kickstarter. It's a great place to just kind of see the status of a campaign and kind of figure out its trajectory. It was fun to see that and kind of see where my campaign was headed. It was fun to see that data. So thank you again to them. Obviously, thank you to Kickstarter for just having this platform. I know there's a lot of others out there that I haven't really delved too far into yet, but just thank you for the ability to do something like this in the first place. I feel like from what I saw, most people found our campaign simply because it was shown to them on Kickstarter, and I think that's incredible. In today's world, we're so inundated with information that it's hard for anything to really stand out, and it's really hard to get heard or seen. And even on a place like Kickstarter, that's been doing pretty well for itself all these years, it still feels like everybody kind of gets a chance to be seen, and it's really just whether or not people are interested in your campaign that really shines through. It's not necessarily, although sure it could be a part of it, the advertising element to it, or utilizing third parties like BackerKit or something like that. There's nothing wrong with that, but it is just nice to see a platform where it feels like people can still see my campaign and it's not buried underneath everything else. So thank you again to Kickstarter for that opportunity. And of course, Another shout out to you guys. He's like, there he goes again. I really can't say it enough. You know, ever since I was like 12 years old, I think this is all I really wanted to do, was tell stories and be able to make content like this. And you know, now that I'm 25, in my 30s, you know, I still want that, and to have people to see that it's not a waste, you know, to see that there are people who would be interested in the stories I have to tell means a lot to me. It's really special. So again, thank you so much, and I hope that I can delight you with stories to come in the future, if you give me the chance. I know it must seem weird that I seem so excited despite us losing, but you know, at the end of the day, maybe we didn't make it all the way, but to quote one of my favorite cartoons, Avatar, we tasted victory, and that counts for something. So I think things are only going to go up from here, and I'm really excited about what the future holds. So without further ado, I kind of want to give back. I wanted to share the love and just try to celebrate all the other amazing creative endeavors that exist out there, or just people that I think deserve a shout out. For those of you who are wondering what to do now, maybe you think to yourself, I got this, you know, $20 that I was going to spend on a comic book, and now that's not going to happen. Well, what do I do now? Well, these might give you just a few ideas of places that you might be interested in supporting or looking into, or just watching for entertainment. So I think the first thing I want to give a shout out to is here on Kickstarter, because that's where we all are right now, right? I want to give a shout out to The Illustrated Light of the Lost by David Ian Flynn. And I really like the format of this graphic novel. It's all about travel and adventure, and I think that pairs pretty nicely with science fiction and the sort of stuff that we do at Starhelm Studios, even though I know the graphic novel itself is not about science fiction. It's really just about traveling and seeing the world. But I think a lot of the things that are great about that are the same reasons why I love science fiction. It's the things we'll see and encounter, the experiences that we'll have. I think that's a big part of what draws me in to science fiction, and it's why I really like this particular campaign. I really like a project that explores just travel and seeing more of the world and being a part of it, being present. So definitely check it out, Illustrated Light of the Lost. It's still on Kickstarter. I still think they have a pretty good chance of making their goal. Maybe with your help they can make it the rest of the way. So definitely check it out. I also want to give another shout out to one of our backers who I have met and play tested one of their board games. His name is Don Gilstrap, and he's with August Games with a game that they created called Backyard Chickens. And it's all about trying to take care of a coop of chickens that all have really fun names, and it comes with little tiny eggs that you use during the game, and it's just a blast to play. We had a lot of fun getting to play test it. Thanks, Don, for letting us be a part of that, and thanks for backing us here on Kickstarter. If you guys like board games like that, we have a lot of cool cards and cute artwork of chickens, definitely take a look at Backyard Chickens. It's still here on Kickstarter. You can pre-order it. It already met its funding goal, but you can still potentially get a copy of it, so definitely take a look. Thanks, Don. I'd like to turn it over to some things which aren't necessarily Kickstarter related, but they still helped us out with our campaign, and I can't thank them enough. If you've ever been looking to own some truly original artwork, something that kind of breaks free of the norm of any typical modern art that you've seen today, I definitely recommend checking out a good friend of mine, Kellen Dyer. He does a lot of what I guess I would consider surreal artwork. Perhaps he can put it in better words than I. If you check out his website, if you go to kdyerartist.com, you can see more of this kind of stuff. Some of it might feature a little bit of nudity and things like that, but there's stuff of people of all shapes and sizes and strange situations, and maybe some, I don't know if you want to call it body horror or something like that, but it's truly interesting and engaging. And I would definitely recommend taking a look at it if you're looking to own a piece of truly original artwork. I also want to give a shout out to a friend of mine, Patrick Fleming. He runs a business called Fleming Family Photography. You can look them up on Instagram. If you've ever been looking to get some professional photography done for an event, some sort of life moment, definitely hit him up. He's also contributed some amazing fan art of Soul, the Starhelmsman, our honorary mascot for Starhelm Studios, and I have it on good authority from Soul himself that it is the best representation of his likeness to date, and that he hopes to see more fan art that captures his beauty and splendor online. So if any of you are artistically inclined, or even if you're not, you just want to make a doodle, we'd love to see it, either of Soul or one of our other projects from Starhelm Studios. So share it with us, tag us, and we hope to see more. So thanks to Patrick Fleming for that, and definitely check out his Instagram account if you're looking for some professional photography. I'd also like to mention a couple streamers. These are good friends of mine that have lived with me before, and you like watching stuff on Twitch, whether it's gaming or you just like being part of a podcast. Quinn Dango is on Twitch, streaming every game you can almost think of. I mean, he has a broad taste in video games. He's willing to give pretty much anything a try, and he'll tell you like it is. If you want a strong opinion about something or a particular game, you can get it there, and I really like that about his channel. And he's not afraid to say how he feels about it. So definitely check that one out. Dr. Hairs, that being with a Z at the end, is a good friend of mine, Derek, who has a podcast called the Sleight of Hand podcast he's a co-founder of. So if you like listening to podcasts and that sort of thing, a lot of my roommates here are, then definitely check that out at Dr. Hairs. Yeah. I wanted to give another shout out to just some of the things that interest me, that excite me about sci-fi. Maybe it'll give you an idea of kind of where my headspace is at when I'm working on things like Galaxy Goodbyes or other content related to space. So the first one that I want to show you guys is one of my favorite books of all time. It's Dan Simmons' Hyperion. It's just such a great sci-fi novel about other worlds, and there's some time travel involved, and there's this crazy thing called the Shrike, and it feels almost like the Fellowship of the Ring at first. Like we're just off to watch these heroes go somewhere, and we're learning about their lives along the way. Just this traveling group, and what's their deal? Why are they all brought together? Why are they so important? And what's waiting for them at the end of their journey? It's just a great sci-fi story, and I definitely recommend checking this one out. Prophet. This comic is crazy. There's all these different John Prophets in the future, and they're all different. And there's some sort of giant hegemony of some sort of empire with some sort of like ghost woman at the front of it, and people are popping up from the ground in capsules, and there's all these different alien empires that have already taken over the human race at this point. I don't even fully know what's going on in this story, but it's just so cool. I mean, some of the artwork is just crazy. I just love reading every single issue of it. Definitely check out Prophet. And then last but not least, this is my favorite. Like, I had been making some small comics before I had read this, And I've read Marvel, I've read DC, I've seen the movies, I've been a part of this world, since I was a little kid. But it wasn't until I read Reminder and Scalero's Black Science that I really was inspired, and it made me get into wanting to make comics and made me excited again for sci-fi. It's just a story about this kind of dysfunctional team who winds up in alternate dimensions and are just trying to get home alive. It's just such a great setup, and it reminds me of Breaking Bad in a way, if you've ever seen it, where some of these characters are questionable, but you kind of still root for them anyway the whole way through. And you'll hate it at times, and you'll love it at times. It's got a lot of action, but it also has a lot of heart, and that's something that I like. Definitely check out Black Science. It's just so crazy. I love this story. It's probably my favorite comic book of all time. I know that's probably saying a lot because there's a lot of content out there, but there's just something about this one that does it for me. So definitely check it out. So with that all being said, I also want to just extend or open the floor to all of you guys in the comments below. If there's something you're proud of. I don't know, it could even be just your family that you're proud of. It could be something that you made or something else that someone else made. You have the floor now. I'm interested to see what you have, whether it's something that you're excited about, or maybe it's just some feedback for me, or if you want to use the anonymous survey that I'm going to be providing in the posts below. Take a look at that and let us know what you think. We look forward to reading more of your comments. Once again, I know I said it before, here he goes. Seriously, thank you all again for being a part of this. We didn't quite make it all the way, but I know it can only go up from here. This isn't the end. Starhelm Studios will continue. I'm never going to give up on it, and I'm glad to have you guys with me on this journey, and I hope you'll be there on the next one. Until next time, aim for the stars.